Hey everybody, welcome to So Many Sequels, your book club for movies. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Subscribe if you haven't done that yet over at YouTube, So Many Sequels Pod, or Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. And you can follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, all those fun places. Today on the show, we are talking about American Psycho. A wealthy New York investment banking executive hides his alternate psychopathic ego from his coworkers and friends as he escalates deeper into his illogical, gratuitous fantasies. This is directed by Mary Harron as part of our female-directed movies month. David, why don't you tell us how this movie did in the box office when it opened back in 2000, I think?
Yes, April 14th of the year 2000. One of the reasons that I really like looking at the box office stats for the films we do is because there's such an obsession today with how much a movie made, right? And whether or not that makes it a success or failure. And that's not necessarily the whole story, because a movie like American Psycho has such a huge life after its theatrical run. But what I'm going to detail here is not going to sound like it was a huge success. April 14th, 2000, the movie opened in the number 7 spot with $5 million even. And that's pretty much its biggest weekend. The number 1 movie of the weekend was Rules of Engagement, followed by the other film debuting that week, 28 Days. No, not a prequel to 28 Days Later. Keeping the Faith was in at number 3. That's a Ben Stiller, Ed Norton movie, which I actually also like. Aaron Brockovich was in its 5th week at number 4 with $7 million. And in the number 5 spot, The Road to El Dorado was in its 3rd weekend with $6.1 million. Another film we actually reviewed for this podcast, Return to Me, was just ahead of American Psycho at number 6. American Psycho would go on to make $15 million in the U.S., $19.2 million overseas, for a worldwide total of $34 million. All of that on a budget of roughly $8 million. So, I mean, successful. I mean, from a fairly successful from a financial standpoint. It made over 4 times its budget. But you wouldn't say, wow, man, this movie really cleaned up or anything like that. And yet, look at how relevant this movie continues to be year after year after year. This is a movie I've kind of avoided because it was there's kind of like a film bro aspect of like there's kind of like that aspect of like people attach themselves to this and Fight Club in weird ways. Anyway, the movie would go on to be the 116th movie of the year 2000, just behind the movie Bait, and just ahead of the next big thing, number 1 movie of the year 2000. We've talked about this before, but it's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which is crazy since it came out at the very end of the year. Castaway, Mission Impossible 2, and Gladiator were your other top movies that year. This is not our first trip to 2000, as I said. We've been there quite a few times. In fact, it's a really weird collection of films we've done for the year 2000, including such works as Bedazzled, which we did for Brendan Fraser a few years back. Meet the Parents, which we did for So Many Fockers. There's so many great themes here. We did How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Reindeer Games. We also did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Final Destination is our most recent film we've done from this particular year. But yeah, I mean, 2000 was an interesting year for movies, and American Psycho was just one of those.
American Psycho is a movie that I feel like I know some of the iconic scenes from more than I know the whole movie. Like, I have seen so many compilations and shows and highlight reels with that Huey Lewis dance sequence with Christian Bale and Jared Leto in the apartment. So this coming into this, I was really looking forward to seeing how that all came together. Really seeing this for the first time as an adult.
Had you seen it before?
When I was younger. So like well before I would understand any of the satire.
Sure.
Well before I would really even understand anything beyond, oh, he's a serial killer, ha ha ha. Like, but it's more than that. So I was excited to see it from that perspective. But David, you mentioned how this has a film bro-y aspect to it, and that kind of that almost cultish Fight Club you mentioned type vibe. And that's also part of That's also part of why I was drawn to it, because I wanted to see how Mary Harron was able to tap into that so well. with a movie that is satirizing that culture, and yet they love it.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by that, and I feel like, you know, I see why now. We'll talk. I see why now. So that was kind of my expectation going into it. Was just kind of like, how does this come out through this director's vision, and how does it hold up? Because this is also a movie that takes place in the 80s, came out in 2000. We're watching it in 2025, and yet this type of culture is still extremely prevalent.
Yeah.
It's relevant in like each of those 3 decades.
Yeah.
What about you, Garrett? What were your
was-
expectations?
I was excited to see this and check it off my watch list because this is a first time watch for me. I hadn't seen it before. Same vein, I'd seen the Huey Lewis scene, realistically, and that's pretty much it. And the opening scene with Christian Bale's crazy face, or that iconic picture. So I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't see it when I was younger because I thought it was scary. And then when I found out that it was kind of not so that and something else, it was just one that I never really ventured into. But I had always heard good things. So, but it was, again, doing research for this, I had no idea it was based on a novel that is totally different. And the way that it was taken compared to the novel, I had no idea what to expect. And so I really didn't have anything for the overall movie, but I was really excited to finally get an understanding of what people have said and get a better idea of this movie. Because again, knowing only the scene through the Huey Lewis scene, you have really no idea what this movie is about. David, you've seen it before?
No, this was a first time viewing for me. I mean, I know it mostly through memes, like you said at this stage. There's the scene of him walking into the office with his headphones on, and people are like me walking into work the next day, and it's like whatever the popular song of the week is that's like really annoying or earwormish. And or it's the scenes we'll talk about as we keep going here, but the card scenes and that sort of stuff, and people compare. Like, there's tons of memes that come out of this. I gotta say, I feel like the internet culture sort of let me down in regards to what I was expecting with the movie, because no one, I don't know how this happened, but no one has ever really described it to me as a satire.
No.
I've always kind of gotten the vibe of it being sort of a psychological horror type movie, or it's like a, kind of like it's like this guy's really messed up. He's really gone. He's gone full blown crazy, and it's like really gory and things like that. And I don't know if this is weird to say. I'm gonna start with this. I think this might be Christian Bale's funniest performance I've ever seen. Like, he's really funny in this. And off-putting, sure, but like, we'll get into like the monologues and stuff, because that's kind of my favorite part. But I think if I had seen this around the same time I saw Equilibrium, like when I was like 16 or 17, I would have been obsessed with this. I would have thought this was so cool. Because I was really big on Christian Bale, like right as Batman Begins was happening, like right before that, I was kind of getting into him, and then he got Batman Begins, and everything blew up from there. But yeah, so I actually, for a first time viewing, really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to kind of talk it out a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get into this movie, how it starts. So it is kind of framed around these narrated monologues, like you said. Let's talk about that right out of the gate, because narration is sometimes controversial on the show. Was it used well or not? This time I kind of think it was, because it did come and go and wrap the movie as well.
Go.
Well, I think because especially
they didn't forget it, is what I'm saying.
No, and it's spoken like a confession, like a confessional or whatever, right? And because Christian Bale's character, because Patrick Bateman or whoever he is, doesn't actually share his real feelings with anybody, it's like you almost have it. Like, it really fills in that gap that we kind of need. Of like, you can watch what he's doing, but often what he's doing is not matching what he's saying. So I don't know. It does kind of. I don't know. I feel like it adds. Puts us in his mind, in his headspace.
And that's kind of the way that I look at it too. Is that it's this movie, as we'll get into the breakdown of it, but as we don't necessarily know if we're in his head or if we're seeing real things. So, the chaos of this movie and the questions and threads that it dangles, the ability to kind of hear his inner monologue, it did seem to make sense for the carrying of the story.
I do think it would be an interesting cut of the movie if you like re-edited the movie but without any of his narration and just see how it plays from there. Like that would be kind of an interesting way to watch it. But
if anything, it's nice because Bale is speaking in such an insane rhythm to me that I enjoy hearing it.
yeah,
Because and we do get some nice, not nice, but we get some like insight into his character through it. Like the narration is where he says, this is my alleged fiance. I was like, ooh, alleged fiance. What does that mean? Poor Reese Witherspoon. I mean, not poor Reese, but also poor Reese. Come on. Just gonna leave her hanging. But we're introduced to Patrick Bateman, who is 27 years old. Painful to see. You hate to see a guy. I don't know. I wonder if I don't know how old he really was, but I just refuse to accept that. That any of those people were 27.
Yeah.
In that movie, I refuse. But really, what we see early on is how all these people in this Wall Street environment, the men particularly, are like hyper competitive about everything, all the way down to their business cards, which is
and
like
yet,
one of the iconic early scenes in the film is the guys gathered around like whipping out. They even have like fancy like metallic business card
holders. Yes.
And he's like,
nerd, if you don't, you're a loser.
Mine's crosshatched. Mine's got raised lettering.
Yeah,
blah,
you
blah,
like
blah.
that color? It's called bone.
Yeah. And Leto, Paul Allen, has the nicest, I guess, business card, which makes everybody jealous, especially Patrick Bateman, which
this
gets us quickly into finding out how psychotic he really is.
Yeah, this was one of the first scenes where I started to think, why am I laughing so much? Because they were comparing them, and I had seen I had seen the memes. I had seen the memes of this, but just the way he said it to himself, just the way he said, "I can't believe he likes, Paul's card over mine.
more than mine." Well, it speaks to that goes to all of this again, the satirical nature that they're getting to, and the toxic masculinity, where the smallest unnoticeable difference of something, and then you feeling like yours doesn't live up to, oh, they got the off-white, it's so tasteful and such, and it just tweaks your ego
and it's this thing that's kind of funny because they are all the same guy. Like they're all the exact same person. They're all trying to be
they have the same haircut.
Person.
Yeah, they have the same haircut, they have the same, and some might say that's very Trumpian looking of the 80s, if you might go Google some photos with him and Jeff.
That was the style. Vodka and cocaine. That was
Financier?
The style. The New York Financier. And they, it's such to the point they all have the same job title. They're all vice president. Like
right.
they are all have the same
nothing.
job to the point where they confuse each other for each other. Like that's part of the initial scuff, is that Jared Leto confuses Patrick Bateman for another guy who works there. He goes, "But my haircut's better." But they have the same haircut. The idea that these guys think that they are special, I guess, or trying to be special, when they are all so conformed to the exact same model that the only ways they can express their individuality is through their business cards that are just the same business. Almost, I mean, the smallest of differences.
Well,
it's very funny.
I had the thought. There's a few times you see Patrick in the office throughout the movie. And at some point during it, I was like, they don't do anything, actually. Also, like, their job is to just like sit in their office. Every time he's in his office, he's just like listening to music, like, and his desk is empty. Like, they don't do anything. They just are like important, and they have to feel important. and they just walk around and make sure that they're still important throughout the day.
Half
It's kinda
their
what
day
their
is
life
going to lunch.
Yeah.
With somebody that's not real or a person on TV to a hotel restaurant that is too far away to be realistic. But again, they just distort reality, talk so fast, move without anybody being able to, and then they try to charm their way, back around. Every time that Patrick is confronted with something, he tries to put on a charm and be like, oh, look, despite the fact that internally that he's just not feeling anything. And a lot of it was just emptiness. And so there was the scene where they were at that dinner and he lists like all of these general things that the world, they need to start solving before the world, and it makes him feel deep, but he's just listing off like a brochure list of problems. Mm-hmm. We can get into his Jared Letoing and the Huey Lewis in the newsing, because again, every time that he has those moments, he gets into this deep knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what we need to get to next. As Bateman basically decides to target Paul Allen, the Jared Leto character, over his very nice business cards. He brings him back. Well, he gets him very drunk first, brings him back to his apartment, and invites him to listen to the new Huey Lewis in the News album, which brings out then the iconic monologue. If you haven't watched this movie, you should at least get on YouTube and look for this scene. You can watch it without it ruining the film for you. But it's great. He starts talking like ChatGPT if it had existed at the time. He's like, Huey Lewis in the News. Their music goes deeper than what you think, and yada yada yada. And he's talking
with
about
their iconic one, hip to be square, challenges the ideas of conformity while also, like in the way he's talking, it feels like he's doing like a Jim Carrey impression or something. Like it's very.
He sounds like a guy at the fair, a carnival barker, a like infomercial salesman almost.
But see, I think that's also when he's allowing himself to be his most authentic version of himself, which is a nerdy, obsessive, compulsive, like wants to understand everything to the depths that he is obsessed with, and really wants to just fill himself with the knowledge to be able to spout. And it is very, humorous to watch him, but when he's dancing and excited, because he also knows he's about to murder that son of a gun, and he's excited.
Yeah. He's putting on his poncho, he's grabbing his axe, and he goes to town murdering the F out of that guy.
And, Patrick Bateman, I don't know what it was about Jared Leto in the late 90s that we all just wanted to like punch and kill that guy. But like between this and Fight
90s?
Club, he was getting it.
It's still,
I'm just saying.
Still today.
Between this and Fight Club, he was just getting it on screen all the time in terms of he's catching these hands and axes. And he's just sitting there, he's just trying to like listen to this stuff. He's dancing around the room a little bit in the background, carrying this axe. But I love what really cracks me up is like the restraint he puts on to like get all of his things in order before he does this thing. But I don't know, there's something, I don't know, like you said, Christian Bale, obviously tremendous actor. But he's very captivating on screen sometimes without doing much. It's just little things.
I want to talk about Mary Harron's direction in some of these things, because again, we talked about this being based on a novel, which is not satirical from my understanding. I've not read it, but I understand it to be very gory, very graphic, very sexual assaulty, not so great. And so you see some of that. And again, this is where this movie gets so interesting. Almost right out the gate, whenever he's at the bar and he asks for the drink and he tries to pay for the tickets, and the woman says that you can't do that, it's $25, and she turns around and he just says out loud, I want to kill you and play in your blood, essentially is what he said. I don't know if you guys remember this.
No,
he just that right out the gate, and I was like, holy crap, did he just say this out loud? But she didn't react to it.
She didn't hear it, yeah.
So it set up this, like, have no idea where he's going to go with things.
There's a similar scene when he's at the dry cleaner where the way it's edited almost feels like like there's an insert where he like screams in her face, "I'm going to kill you," or something like that.
Yeah.
But then it cuts back and he's sort of like pulling back in a different, almost as if like that's his mentally, like that's what he wants to
Right.
say, but maybe he didn't actually say that. And I just think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sometimes the editing on this really allows you in a different way. I know that one of the things we haven't talked about, but after he kills Jared Leto, is we get Willem Dafoe's character. And one of the things that I have heard through years of film broing is that they shot Dafoe's scenes like 3 times in a row. One where Willem Dafoe, she said, in this take, you don't think he did it. In this take, you think he may have done it. In this take, you know he did it. And then she like cut together all of those takes into different, like, you know, so like none of them are like, she didn't just use one of them for all of it. It's like she intercut it. So like scene to scene, moment to moment, Willem Dafoe is like, you're seeing like how like Bateman's perspective of what, you know, whether he thinks he's caught or not. Like, so like I think that Harron did an interesting job here with editing to make you feel like you're in Bateman's head.
Well, and there's that other moment after he kills Jared Leto where he brings the body bag out and there's just trail of blood behind him and nobody says anything. And it goes back to that, just nobody's actually paying attention in this big world where everybody cares about their image and their perspective and all of that. And, you know, this goes back to the way Christian Bale plays that character. He's allowing himself to indulge in those urges in that moment, but he puts that raincoat on over his nice suit. And he has everything prepared for him to be able to murder it. And so it's just such an interesting way to set somebody up to be scary and silly at the same time, where you don't know what is going on in this person's head. It was just well acted, well thought out, and well adapted.
Yeah. You really start to get a sense of the chaos more, like a little more into probably closer into the third act, but even early on, you know, you guys are talking about the no one noticing the blood and all that, but we even have some more extreme moments where like that payphone tells him to like feed it a cat, and just very strange, bizarre things are happening that you can't even tell are they real or not. The chainsaw chase through the stairwell, just it gets crazier and crazier, to the point where he kind of breaks down. No, he does break down, and he confesses everything in a voicemail to his lawyer. And I'm like, okay, well, shit's gonna go down now, surely.
Right.
Well, and during that time after he killed Paul Allen, you know, he like, you see him just continue to tell lie after lie after lie after lie, and it gets really interesting. You know, he becomes Paul Allen, and he picks up, you know, a female. She picks up a sex worker, a couple of them, and has these. Again, there's another moment. We talked about the Huey Lewis in the news scene, but there was another moment where I had never heard, but he had this monologue about Phil Collins. And again, I said this off mic, I'm gonna say it now. The man has good musical taste. And for him to play Invisible Touch and that album, to talk about Phil Collins and then to play
on intangibility.
Yes, and for him to then say, "Here, this is Sussudio, a personal favorite of mine, Brother Me Too." I'm saying, but that next scene where it goes into is just this like X-rated porn recreation after you see him earlier on the phone just watching porn. You know, like that's his thought of women, and that is portrayed throughout this whole thing as well. And while he's doing that, he's just looking at himself and flexing and just really, and like, you know, again, David, you talk about this being funny. I don't know how, but that scene, while disturbing, also funny.
It's just something about it feels, it just, like, I even get the idea of like satirical to an extent, but it's just, he thinks so much of, he thinks, I don't know. It's like, I can't even really explain it. But there's just something so inherently goofy about him in his spiral that he's going down. He makes the confession to his lawyer, and you think to yourself, well, what's going to happen now? And then, like, the next day, nobody cares. And in fact, his lawyer didn't even believe it. And this is what really, so the ending's really ambiguous.
Yes.
And so I
Yeah.
was starting to question myself at this point because they kept calling him Davis. And I was like, has he not been Patrick Bateman this whole time? Has he been Mark Davis or something? Like, now I'm uncertain. What do you guys think? Like, was all of the murders in his head?
His lawyer is saying that he had dinner with
yeah, right.
with at Paul Allen in London, and that is where you have again this scene where he's trying to cover up the murder. He goes and he talks about Paul. He leaves a message pretending to be Paul London, Paul that he's going to go to London. And at the end, again, whenever that's there, because of the way that it's been shot, because of the direction that she was given to Willem Dafoe about all of the different ways to portray his innocence or not, you have no idea. And I think that's the point, is that you have no idea if it happened in his head, if it was real, if people have no idea who anybody is, and maybe he is dead, maybe he's not. Nobody actually knows. And I kind of like it because this whole thing is, again, I think that's where they get that psychological thriller, but that's not what you think of. It is just incredibly psychological.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm gonna have to send you guys this. Letterboxd actually did a blog earlier in the year about the 25 years of American Psycho and talked a lot about the choice to have Christian Bale do a comedic performance and the intentionality in making sure Bateman was, in Mary Harron's words, a dork, to contrast with the chiseled, everything is perfect, my appearance, I like have all of the right skincare, like all of that had to be counteracted with him being a full-blown dork at the same time. It's very interesting.
It's because all of the toxic masculinity and the things that he's portraying is because of his own insecurities, if you think about it. I mean, again, he is a dork. He knows all of these nerdy things, and he is trying to present, and then you go back.
Mini soaps.
He's very well taken care of.
It made me feel bad about
young,
myself too, though. I was like, should I be doing more should I get eye cream?
You're not 27, but yes, you should. Take care of yourself. Take care of
Ugly
yourself.
fact I've just learned. He was 26 when they filmed this. So that made me feel even worse.
Older.
I will say, as we start to approach the end of the movie part here, you can see Bale's Bruce Wayne all over this. Like, it's like, I see why this is twisted Bruce Wayne. Like, it's foretelling what he can do. So I thought that was cool to see.
But
like that,
between this and Equilibrium, you really get a sense of like what it was that if it was Nolan or Nolan's casting director, whoever it was, that saw, like that's what they saw. They were like, this guy's got something. He's got something that, like, he's got a slightly action hero vibe to him, but he's also just got that kind of like Bruce Wayne vibe to him, and he looks,
Another dorky thing that I would not have expected. Okay, listen. This was something that they identified was dorky in the 1980s. Was dorky enough still in 2000 to be made as a joke, and is somehow still dorky today in 2025, which is the number of times Patrick Bateman kept thinking he saw a member of the Trump family nearby him. He was like, is that Donald Trump's car? Is that Ivana Trump? Is that
Ivana Trump?
And they were like, why would Ivana
No,
Trump?
they just idolize the guy. I mean, that is who they're trying to model themselves after, is a New York business. Again, look at the guy. Look at the haircut. It's all, go back and look at the haircut. It's all there. But yeah, it is. And again, you see the people, they see this movie at a certain time in their lives, like you said, David, and they attach themselves to the wrong thing. I don't know how you can watch this now at this. I'm 36 almost. I don't know how old I am, 30 something, and I don't know how you cannot see this with just dripping satirical nature on there and be impressed by these guys, as opposed to being like, oh my God.
What a bunch of nerds.
Another great line that I wrote down that felt like a throwaway was he said he had a meeting with Cliff Huxtable.
Yes, Cliff Huxtable is the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why he said that.
Again, because
But then
he's
Kimball
just,
might all be in his head.
no, he's just lying.
Mm-hmm.
He is just saying things and not giving people a chance to respond. It has no bearing in truth because he just lives in lies. He just has become a lie. And so you see that prevalent. And again, he just says it. He doesn't have a lunch with Cliff Huxtable. He doesn't know where the Four Seasons is. He's just saying big words to sound impressive.
Just trying to get out of there.
I do have two. I'm down to two favorite lines. I think the first one is, "Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it."
God.
and then, can you keep it down? I'm trying to do drugs.
Yeah. There was a lot of
part
drugs.
too, where I was cracking up laughing. Him and Justin Theroux, and they're like, "Shut up!"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm trying to do drugs over here."
There are some things that aren't great, but again, this takes place in the 80s, and so I imagine all of that stuff is time period relatively accurate, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't like it, but
and vodka.
Yeah.
So then, we get this extremely vague ending, not really knowing if any of this happened or not. I kind of think I choose to interpret that he did all that and got away with it because that's what I think the world would do. I think it would allow him to get away.
I choose to believe some of it happened,
Okay.
but not all of it. I think he murdered that homeless guy and killed his dog.
Okay.
But
that was really messed
Sorry.
up.
that was really
mad.
messed
He
up.
curb stomped that dog.
And I felt bad for both
Stab
of them.
that man.
No, it was like
stab that
unnecessary.
man. Made him feel bad about himself.
So anyway, I think some of it may have happened, but maybe other parts didn't. He's going crazy. He's off his meds.
Yeah. All right. Well, do we want to get into our final rating and review of American Psycho here on the show?
Yeah, let's start to wrap this up. I have to return some videotapes.
Oh God, yeah. That was another great recurring line.
Alibi. I was probably returning some
Videotapes.
I have to return some videotapes.
You know what? I probably would have had that line a lot too if I were 27 in the 80s. But I would actually be returning videotapes, not murdering people. Make it clear.
Just to make it clear.
Gosh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I really enjoyed the movie. I think it holds up really well in a lot of ways. We've pointed out how it holds up in so many ways over so many different years, and still remains relevant. I think Christian Bale is so fun to watch. We didn't talk much about Willem Dafoe. He really doesn't do much in here, but he's also just delightful.
Yeah, a movie that he wasn't like the scariest dude in the bag in there. So that was awesome. I love when Willem Dafoe gets to just be a normal
Great
guy
directing
sometimes.
overall from Mary Harron. I enjoyed this a lot. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars.
I think I too am going to give it 4 stars. I was leaning towards a 4.5.
Okay.
So maybe I will go there. Maybe if I watch it again, maybe I'll take away some more things and I'll bump it up. But I'm going to go with 4 stars. I think it's a fantastic performance that really lingers with me. Because like immediately afterwards, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. But the whole next day, I was just thinking about the performance over a lot of it. And then every other person in this delivers like a really good, solid performance as well. Yeah. And the story is really interesting. So I think if I had seen this, like I said, at a younger age, I might have been higher on it. But for now, a 4. Tended to 4.5.
I feel like 4 is pretty high.
I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it twice because for movies like this, it's one of those where I like to watch it for entertainment and then really try to watch it again to get a sense of what the movie's doing. And that really helped. But I will say some of the end of the second and into the beginning of the third act, I feel like it kind of hit a moment where it just really pumped the brakes on some things. And it stalled out a little bit. And I struggled to overcome that both times. But because of the incredible performances and it's so good, it's not really that big of a deal. It was just something that I noticed. But the direction of this, the satirical ability to take a novel that I understand to be so graphic and violent and to not lean into that and to satirize that instead, what an incredible choice and an incredible hit. And so because of all of that, I'm also going to give it 4 stars.
So can I say, before we move on to the last part, this is going to be a bit of a downer, but I did want to talk about it a little bit in terms of the violence, like you said, is that this movie did come out in the time span. What was I reading? Hang on. This came out not too long after the Columbine shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of social political groups that thought this movie was too violent and encouraged, violence, for that particular group that, you could say is involved in the Columbine shootings and stuff. But Mary Harron went on like a bit of a press tour talking about how they've actually toned down a lot of that stuff from the books. Like the book is much more graphic, as you said.
Yeah, that's
Gary.
what I've heard.
So, I did think that was an interesting aspect to consider. I think obviously it was a little time after, but that stuff that back then that stuff had a much longer lifespan.
True. It's almost hard to even fathom that the people today would still remember a shooting from the year prior.
Yeah, I don't think people would get worked up about a movie about violence anymore.
No. Which is maybe a shame, maybe not, depending on how you look at things, I guess.
It's true.
All right. Well, let's take some guesses at the Letterboxd score for this. I'm going to read off a few of the most popular reviews here, see if we got any fun ones. 4.5 stars. He's a child of divorce. Give him a break. 4 stars. Oh my God. I can't believe Patrick Bateman invented morning routines. The beauty guru jumped out. 4 stars. ASMR. Patrick Bateman rates your Spotify Wrapped before killing you.
Ooh.
4 stars. Yes, Patrick Bateman is an awful, terrible person who kills people, but do you know what he doesn't do? Let his friends get away with making anti-Semitic statements.
He doesn't. He calls them out.
And then finally, 5 stars. 5 stars for the brutal murder of Jared Leto.
All
man.
right.
Who's first, David?
So,
Our stat keeper.
Josh is still first. Josh is currently at 11. I'm at 13. Garrett's in the lead with 15 points as we go into the home stretch here with So Many Scares, and then November, and then December.
3.7.
Ooh, 3.7 guess from Josh. I will guess. I'm going to guess it's a 4.1.
Well, I'm going to go with a 3. What did you say, Josh? 3.7?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go right between you with a 3.9.
3.9. 3.7, 3.9, and 4.1.
Safe place to be.
This week,
I'm in the lead. I got to be careful.
we do not have a direct hit. You said what? 3.9, David?
Yeah. It's at 3.9.
We got a tiebreaker. It's 3.8.
Hey, that's kind of what I was going
you
for.
guys.
Yeah.
So what that means is Josh gets 1 point.
Oh yeah, we split.
And Garrett gets 1 point.
I never
because
remember that. But that's
we have
good.
the split point. I think it was your idea. We have the split point.
Cheers to me. I want to thank me.
The split point gives Josh 12, me 13, Garrett now 16. Garrett a full 4 points ahead with only 12 episodes to go. So, I mean, anything can happen.
Anything could happen.
It might be too far for us to overcome. It's hard to say.
No. 2 hits and you 2... Nah.
You never know. You never know. Anything could happen. All right. Well, that is a wrap on American Psycho and our month devoted to female-directed movies. It was a good
Shall
time.
we rank them?
Yeah, we did.
We did some great movie picks.
Yeah.
We did we were all over the spectrum too. Lost in Translation,
Mm-hmm.
Clueless,
Mm-hmm.
American Psycho.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's almost unfair to rank them because of how varied they are. But I guess, however we want to do
It
that,
is.
enjoyment-wise.
It's difficult. Yeah, it's always enjoyment, right?
Oh, I mean, I guess I'm gonna go Clueless, Psycho, Lost in Translation.
Sure. I think I'm gonna go with. Oh God, it is tough because they're so different. You know, I'm gonna say
is.
sentimental favorite will always be Lost in Translation, but I do think that in this regard, it is Clueless, American Psycho, and then Lost in Translation.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, the most I could do is say American Psycho, Clueless,
Yeah.
Lost in Translation, but I think
That's
Clueless
not
takes
to,
it by a hair.
that's not to
Yeah.
demean Lost in
No.
Translation. Wait,
No,
if
not
no,
in the
it's
slightest.
not.
It's a different kind of movie. I don't think I enjoy watching that.
Look, the
think
I don't
I
movie is
gave
it's
depressing
all-
by design.
exactly. Yeah,
I
It's not
could be wrong, but I
enjoyable.
think I gave all 3 of them 4 stars. So
Well, then you
Yeah.
enjoyed them all.
I think they're all like a dead heat for me.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, next week we will kick off So Many Scares versus Jason. Check out our social media. Maybe we will put something there. Maybe we'll make a guide to what
What the hell we're doing?
what the hell we're doing, because we don't even know yet.
Jason might go to hell in this upcoming series. We don't
Yeah.
know.
So once we get that settled, we will post our view order so that you can join us. So
Yeah.
go do that. So many sequels.com. We've got all our links there. You can join our Discord if you go there, our Instagram, follow us, TikTok, Threads, good stuff's all there. You can listen to past episodes. And that's it. We'll be back next week to kick off So Many Scares. Yay! I can't believe October is here.
I was just thinking the same.
That's
I know.
crazy.
Happy
All right, well,
Halloween.
we'll see you soon.